went to go. Welcome back to MMA Underground, your favorite part of Wednesday. I'm gonna have the dynamic duo known as Buddy V with the one and only.
Sam K. And shit, man, we got two phenomenal guests in the building, as always. All the way from Street Beefs West Coast. You've seen them put on a show at the last Hot Box. We have the one, the only Bearded King in the building.
What up? What up?
And all the way from Streetbeefs Scrapyard. You've seen him recently put on a show. We have the one, the only Blue in the building.
Shit.
All
right.
How you two doing this evening?
Good, man.
Doing great. Just got done with a run not too long ago, so just kind of chilling out and ready to talk.
That's what's up, bro. You know, we have a saying here that cardio is key. Cardio is key.
Definitely.
Cardio is key. So it's
I
great
had
to
learn
hear.
that was my last fight, so got to get that run in. Got to get those runs in.
Facts.
Heck yeah. And Bearded King, how you doing this evening so far? Having fun too?
Yeah, good, man. I worked out earlier today. Just been doing sprints, you know.
Nice.
Man, you guys make me feel lazy. I didn't do nothing but clean all day. No.
That's one thing I could say about Bearded King, man. He's probably one of the most consistent fighters that I see train and post training, as well as, you know, this man is eating well, you know, on the regular. So it's really great to see. What'd you say?
No, I appreciate it. Trying to eat well, you know. Wife brings some snacks and goodies in sometimes, but killing me.
Oh, heck yeah. And before I ask the questions, I will say I didn't realize how serious weight gain was as you got older. It was my tata's birthday. I took him to a Trailblazers game. We ate snacks all day long. Crazy. If it looked good, we got it. I didn't really drink. I just ate a lot. I was shredded when I went down there. When I woke up the next day, I was like, I couldn't even see any definition. I was like, what the hell? That was like 2 weeks worth of training in one night. Hey. So yeah. But I was gonna say, all right, so Bearded King. Wait. Oh wait, no, I'm not frozen. So Bearded King, I was curious because you've done boxing and you've always fought in the sand, but at this most recent event, obviously the West Coast cage got a little bit of an upgrade. I was gonna ask your thoughts on the mat. Oh wait, no, he's frozen. Oh, never mind. Hello? All right, well.
We can hear you. It's just he's froze.
Yeah. It's just his camera. It looks like he blinked out or something.
Yeah, maybe got a phone caller. Oh, all right, Blue. I got you right over here because who was it? Let me see who it was. Oh my gosh, Penguin Flop.
Oh.
I have a few fights, and that was one of my favorite fights of yours. Can you please let everyone watching know, how what happened in that fight?
I mean, to put it in layman's terms, I mean, I honestly just wanted to go out there and fight that day. The fight before this was like kind of my comeback fight in the sense, and so, I, I went out there, I fought that one pretty well. So then going into that one, I kind of felt like it was more like I didn't get to finish last time I was here last month, so like I already had like kind of an animosity in myself built up, like an energy. And so then whenever we go into the fight, he's like mentioning for me to like come forward or like come at him type thing. Like, cause I was just gonna like for the first round, I always try to fill it out. Like I want to see kind of what we're gonna do. I'm not trying to throw any big shots. I'm just trying to see what's this gonna hold, you know. And I don't know. He just provoked me, and like I say, that day I didn't. I don't know. I really wish I could, say that I didn't want that to happen, but I mean it's fighting. I mean that's kind of, that's the nature of the game. I mean, you never know who you're fighting. So, you have to be humble. You have to, try to, I don't know, I don't know, be humble about it. I don't know. I try to be humble. So I would never ask for somebody to come at me, I guess, if I don't know how they fight. because
Okay. Well, speaking of having different fighters and whatnot, someone you fought recently, I think I see him in the chat, the Stone Cold Ree Austin over here. Uh-oh.
I definitely did see him in there. It's my
Yeah,
guy.
that was your most recent fight, right?
It was, and for me, that was, I don't know, that day, I didn't have like a specific like, I just wanted to go that day and fight. I wanted to get through 3 rounds. I didn't want to knock out. I just wanted to fight. Uh, and then getting there, and it was weird because I had checked the board. I wasn't even on there. And then I come back and I'm number one. So I'm like, okay, gotta lock in now. And then when I found out who it is, I'm like, even more I gotta lock in because I seen his last fight and he had a pretty good finisher in his last fight. So I was like, he's gonna be on his game. I have to try to be on my game. And I mean, hey, we fought it out. I mean, there's things I could have done better, but he won. I don't try to make excuses. He got me that day. But definitely was an
Phenomenal fight.
amazing fight for me. I love that fight. Just for myself, like going through 3 rounds. That was my first 3-round fight. And, I learned a lot. That just in that time, I learned enough about myself to where it's taken my training to a different level. So
Oh yeah.
That's what's up, man. Have you did you do any adjustments to your training since then?
I definitely have. So before, I mean, I knew I had pretty good cardio before, but I wasn't really like strict on my running. Like I would just, run here, run there, run. But now every day, every day we running. There's no, there's running every day. That's guaranteed because also in my last fight, I didn't breathe at all. I don't know why I didn't breathe with any of my shots. There was no, I don't know why I didn't, but I just didn't. And so that already for me was a cue that I need to get in that road work. I need to focus on that part because that's a big part of it is how much wind you have in you and how long you can throw a good fight. Because I mean, down the road, it's not going to be 6-minute fights. It's going to be 30 minutes of you fighting somebody. So you know that's kind of how I look at it for me. But
I felt like that was a phenomenal fight, not just for the skill we saw back and forth, but uh, I really liked the fact that it showed the level of grit you have because we've seen fighters come out, and get a good fight or a knockout, and then they come out when they're tested, they fold. And I feel
mhm,
like you were pushed to your limits. We saw you really dig deep, and to the point where a lot of people have given up, and you didn't. You continued to fight, you continue to grow. And that's when we
correct.
really saw, like, holy shit, we really got a real fighter over here, man. This thing is insane. And I
Yeah.
mean, you already had everyone's eyes, and I don't know. I felt like that fight really showed like a whole skill set finally, where I was just like, oh my god, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, and for me, it was like I said, I don't ever take any of these as a loss for me. They're all wins. Like in the sense, I won something even when I lose. Like when you lose, you win something for yourself. Like because no, there's obviously got to be a loser. So there's the chances are always there. But if you strive to win, regardless of how the outcome is, you'll get somewhere. You know.
Hmm.
Heck yeah.
We got Bearded King back.
Yep.
What up?
Uh,
What up?
right
Little
before
difficulties.
you left, Buddy was asking you, what did you think about the upgrades to the cage now that we have mats at the hot box location?
Oh yeah, it's nice, man. It's always good having mats. I could use my boxing shoes now and really get down and plant. I think the last time I fought there before this, I was wearing like the water shoes, the orange water shoes, whatever, trying to get grip in the sand. But yeah, the mats is great. Definitely great.
And speaking of the mats and speaking of being back at the hot box, this past match was a rematch
Yep.
between somebody that you fought before.
Yep.
Um, let's get into it, man, because unfortunately I missed that fight. And when I showed up, man, pretty much everyone I spoke to said that that was like the fight. That was the fight to watch.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. It was pretty good. Yep, rematch. He wanted to do it again. We agreed to it, set it
Who
up.
are we talking about for the people who don't know?
We are talking about. I'm sorry. I'm
Bill
blank right
Collector.
now. Bill Collector. Bill Collector. Yes, Bill Collector. Yeah, the first match we had, he came out swinging, came out banging, you know. So this one, I kind of knew what he was going to do, so I tried to beat him to it. You know what I mean? And I think I did pretty good, you know. So it was a banger. It was a banger for real.
Yeah, I heard there was a lot of back and forth moments where, you know, it could have went either way.
Yeah.
I know he had made a post in the Facebook group, you know, saying that he felt it could have went his way or should have went his way.
Yeah.
How do you see it?
How I see it is, you know, the refs do a great job, you know, gauging the fight. You know, I'll leave it, you know, either a clear win or in the ref's hands if it has to go to decision, you know what I mean? But yeah, it went back and forth. He did catch me with some good ones. He is a hard hitter for sure. He definitely got some power. But even though I was tired, my cardio did start to kick in, you know what I mean? Deep breaths. He did take me out of my game plan though. I wanted to pretty much jab the whole first round, but I was like, no, he's going to come out banging. So, you know, let me jump at him. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was good. And, you know, his comments, I read them. I didn't say anything back to him. Like I said, just leave it up to the judges. If they want to overturn it, that's cool. We don't have to do it again because it can't be 1-1 and, you know, just sit that way. If you want to run it again, we can. No, I'm not tripping. You know, it is what it is.
Okay. And that first fight that you all had, that I saw was like part of a boxing mixer. Was that 1 minute rounds, the first fight?
No, it was 2-minute rounds. Yeah, it was 2-minute rounds. Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was
It
one,
just went
like you
quick.
said, I just remember I was like, whoa, I had to rewind and my time got messed up because, yeah, he came out swinging that first one.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was curious, Tom. Okay, you weren't able to ref that one. If you were there, would you have tried to ref it, or would you have to step back? You know.
I would have refed it more than likely. There was a situation back in the day where I refed one of Bill Collector's fights, and he didn't like the way I called it, and you know, he had some words about it afterwards, and you know, some time had passed, and the next time I saw him, you know, had a talk with him, and I was like, "Hey, bro, before you even get in the ring, let me know now. You know, if you don't want me to ref your fight, that's perfectly fine, because I don't want any excuses. I don't want to hear anything after the fact. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm trying to keep it respectful. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I understand in the heat of the moment as a fighter, you feel how you feel, you see it the way you see it, right? Being a fighter myself, I know how that is, you know? But at the same time, we got to be respectful, you know what I mean? And nobody wants to hear any excuses, you know what I mean? From what I remember, you know, the first time I refed his fight, I wasn't familiar with him. Apparently, Bill Collector had fought one time prior to the time I refed his fight. He fought fuck. I know my boy's real name. I can't think of his fight name.
Was it Stacks? Was it Stacks?
Jonathan with the dreads.
Yeah.
Swole.
Yeah. I think
Swole.
Fuck.
It'll come to me, but damn, bro, I can't remember this dude's name. But anyway, you know, from what I was seeing was I couldn't really tell what state of being he was in based off of his footwork. His footwork had me kind of like, whoa, you know what I mean? It had me thinking some things, you know? So you know, and I don't know how tough you are. This is my first time watching you. This is my first time reffing you. You know, he's a tough motherfucker, bro. He's a tough dude, you know, not the most technical. You know, he may not have the footwork. He may look like he's down and out, but a lot of times he's not down and out, you know. And you know, I saw that over the course of his fights. But I've reffed his fight since then, and since us having that talk, you know, he appreciated, you know, me coming up, talking to him, letting him know, like, hey, you know, how would you, as the fighter, how would you like to go about this? You know what I mean? Because I don't want to give you any reason to second guess or doubt. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I would have left it up to him, but I'm pretty sure, you know, he'd have been cool with me reffing it. The post that we had mentioned earlier that he made, you know, I actually jumped on one of the comments and I was like, yeah, bro, I heard how good this fight was. I'm looking forward to seeing it, you know. So, yeah.
Dang, heck yeah. Well, I was gonna say, with different fighters and stuff, we could suffer some different injuries and whatnot, and things that happen. And I was gonna ask you guys something if you ever suffered in a fight, because one, I was kind of more specific for Blue, was there was when you fought
Yeah.
Q-Tip, he went to the
Yes.
West Coast and fought, I believe it was Punches, and he lost and he came back. And when I saw this liver shot that you received, I felt your pain because I got dropped from a liver shot like a few months before, and I was, oh man, I was hurting. So I had to
Yeah.
ask, man, was that your first full liver shot that
Yeah.
heavy? You know, I
I've
was like,
never in my life have I been hit in my liver that like that. He knocked probably 3 years worth of alcohol out of my body that day, and that's for sure. Because I've never been hit there before. But yeah, I mean, you know, with you know, that's part of it. You know, I know now that, you know, if you come over to my liver, I'm going to hit you with my right. So, you know, that that won't happen again, or at least if it does, I mean, I'm a lot more smarter about it. But you know,
heck yeah. What about Bearded King? You ever suffered a serious injury or anything like that? You know, sparring or in a fight?
Um, when I fought, it wasn't a serious injury, but I guess the hardest one when I fought Wedo, I slipped his jab and he caught me with an uppercut and busted my nose. I wanted to get up, but it started leaking. I was like, "Yeah, I'm good, bro. You got it." It was a good uppercut. It was serious. Yeah,
That's one of his signatures.
yeah. It was good. It was good. I gave him props for that.
Oh,
I wanted to ask you, man. Go ahead, buddy.
Oh, so that was the last shot. That was the one that ended it, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
No, you good, bro. I wanted to ask you, man. You've had some bangers, bro. You've had some bangers, and I noticed all your opponents had different styles. You know, like drastically different styles. You know, I mentioned earlier with Bill Collector, his unorthodoxness. You know, the footwork. You know, my question is, did some of that throw you off? Like his coordination, did that throw you off? And then as well as any other fighters stand out, any other fights, but specifically fighters stand out that you fought?
His footwork didn't throw me off as much as it did the first time. The first time we fought, yeah, it was there was like all the game plan just went out the window. You know what I mean? I just had to try to bang with him and, you know, see what happens. This time, like I said, I was kind of ready for him because I knew his style just from the first time. I had to beat him to it. He took me out of my game plan a little bit, and I didn't throw as many jabs I wanted to, but, you know, got the job done. The other fighters that I fought, well, the first one, Golden Arms, you know, first time in the ring, and dude is huge, bro. Like, arms is bigger than my head. And yeah, he hits hard. He hits really hard. I thought I did pretty good with him, in the beginning. I wasn't doing as much cardio as I am now. Like I said, that was my first fight. So his power, and I know he fought, I think amateur before, he said. So yeah, he was good. He was good. Cuckoo Klan, he's a hard hitter. He was a good fighter. I can definitely tell he's been in the gym many a times. But yeah, man, take his, give his, come back.
Oh yeah. Now, I was gonna say before I ask you, Bearded King, I had a question about your fight with Jamar. Before I ask you that, Blue, I was
Okay, man.
curious. So we brought up Q-Tip earlier, but your fight after that, you had fought Jack, I believe, and there was this fire in your eyes when you came out to that cage where I truly felt that you came with a mission to accomplish, and that fight was crazy. I mean, I want to ask how you prepared for that fight because I mean, I truly felt like I watched a leveled up version of Blue right after that. I mean, I was
Yeah,
just like,
so
oh shit.
that was after taking basically give or take about a year off. Around the same time I had my fight with Q-Tip. I was just about to have my second son, like later on that year, or my wife, but obviously, but um so once I had my kid, I took some time off, did my family thing, and then coming back this year, I was ready to get in there. I knew because like I said, the first time, I mean, everybody's gonna have their first time. If you win in your first time, you probably might want to lose just so you know what it feels like. I ain't even gonna lie, because if you win, like why come back, right? If you already kind of win, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of what my head was in the beginning of all of this. Was like, well, if I won, then why would I? I don't know. But going back to the preparation for that fight, it was just more. A lot of it's more mental for me. I'm physically fit. Like I work. I trust me. I'm a hard worker. I know my own skills. But the mental aspect of boxing, nobody prepares you for, is because everything leading up to that day all matters up until, like, all of it matters because you could think that you're good, and then you get there and you're not good. Like, so preparation, training your mental all the way up until that day matters, because if you're just off for that one day beforehand or one day, it'll throw you. And so for me, it was just more training my mental to get back in the ring, and knowing that I'm going to go in there and I'm going to finish, I'm going to fight. I'm like, I don't know, that's just, to me, that's just how it is like I'm when I lock in, that's the best way I can do it. Is I don't You can see it, like, what I'm saying? You can just see it in my eyes. I don't have to say it, it's just there.
Yeah.
Because it's funny, my buddy even told me, whenever with my last fight, he told me that basically,
Mm-hmm.
you're thrown off, like you're not. He told me like a day before the fight. He was like, he's like, you haven't been focusing. I was like, what you mean? He was like, you haven't been in the same mindset as you were the other two fights. And
Mm.
and when he said that to me, I was like, you're right. You're right. I did slack off. I got two wins and then I slacked off. But in the same sense, I was like, well, since he said that, I know one thing. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to stay in all three rounds, no matter what. So, and that's what I did. Regardless of whether I won or lost, I stayed in there all three. And I fought it out. So,
Hey, you're
That's
just
what's
testing
up.
yourself.
I wanted to ask both of you. Let's start with Blue, and then we'll go to Bearded King. How did you guys hear about Street Beefs, and then how did you guys join Street Beefs? Hey, little one.
um, so I started, honestly, I'd never, like, I had heard about Street Beefs. You see the stuff on YouTube, but to me, I had never fathomed that you could just pull up somewhere, sign a contract, and fight somebody. And so, with that being said, like, it's funny to even say it now, because Lights Out was my first ever opponent, and it was one of the first videos I had ever watched. I watched his video, and I forgot who he fought, but I watched his video, and I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna fight him. And she was like, huh? I was like, yeah, like, you can do that. I don't know how, but it's I made the connection to the Facebook page. I forgot if I watched like a Fire Chicken Live or whatever, where he said, go to the Facebook page, you'll find this and that, and you'll find out how to sign up. So that's what I did. Is I signed up, and lo and behold, my first fight was lights out, and we had our fight. I hadn't trained at all. Just was like had. I mean, I had a little bit of confidence. I was kind of sparring here and there, but I wasn't. There was no true. I call it being lazy ambitious. Like I was basically being lazy and ambitious with it. Like I was thinking
Mm,
I was just gonna go out there and maybe win. I can't say that I knew I was gonna win, but I was like, I might win. I might not, but I'm gonna fight. And so that's what I did. And yeah, from that one,
walk us through that fight because it's not too often a
yeah.
newcomer's first fight is with the champion, and then one
Spot
of
on.
the most experienced champions across all branches.
Yeah, I don't, going into that fight, I when you watch somebody on YouTube, you don't know how to. I mean, even just seeing somebody through however you see them, you don't know how that's gonna go about. You know what I'm saying? And so I had seen him and then when I get there and Fire Chicken walks in, and he was like, "Hey, you ever seen Lights Out fights?" I said, "Yeah, I have." He was like, "Do you want to fight him?" I said, "Yeah, I will." And so once I finally found out I'm fight, or once I full on know I'm finna fight him, I actually get kind of nervous, only because then I'm like, dang, like he actually does have a lot more fights than me. Just generally where we're at, he has more fights than me, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get in there.
More
And
than
so then
everyone,
getting
bro.
in there, it was like just a complete like adrenaline rush where I'm like, everything went out the window, and all I could do was like, all right, fight him. Like because he's also complicated to fight because he has a style that I don't really even know how to still put a pin on. And that's unique to him. I will say if we fight again, it would be bad, but that's we'll have our day. We'll have our day. We will have our day.
Saw it in the comments. I saw it in the comments. Woo!
You know,
Hey, that's something to work
we
towards.
talked about it. We know one day I've told him, hey, and he said, hey, we'll run it back. So I'm like, well, when the fate brings it to us, we definitely gonna have to we got to run that one back. But
Hell yeah.
Hey,
And Beardy King, before you popped out, how did you hear about Street Beefs, and then how did you join Street Beefs?
Uh, we watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and me and my wife we just be scanning, watching cop videos and all that. Then Street Beats popped up, and I literally told her, I can do that just like that. And I found out how to sign up. Uh, actually made a Facebook account just to sign up. Um, then yeah, just went from there. Um, barely trained for my first one. You know what I mean? Just was on the bag. Was like, look it, let's get it.
yeah,
That's what's up, man.
That's what you gotta do, man. You just gotta get out there and everyone. I feel like, and you guys each said it too throughout the shows was the cardio. I think that's one of my
oh,
favorite things to hearing
Yeah,
people too. Is like I trained a little bit. I didn't realize how much cardio you needed for a real fight, though.
oh yeah. If you're not
and
running, if you're not
what's up?
running, that's the one thing you're doing wrong for sure. Like you have to get that road work in, and I don't mean on a treadmill. Like go out, just run. Talk to yourself while you run, because if you're not in enough pain to where you're talking to yourself, then you wanna like kind of emulate the same thing in a fight because that's kind of how it is in a fight. As soon as punches are getting thrown, you don't really hear. I mean, for me, I don't hear anybody. I'm talking to myself. Like, okay, I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do this. I need. So that road work, that cardio, that's real deal right there.
Yeah. And before I have this killer next question, I was curious because Bearded King earlier I did bring up the JMR fight. There was
yeah.
a killer fight. You were throwing some bombs. I gotta know, were you curious how that man did not get knocked out? Because there was a few where it was like You were on the butt, and his head turned 90 degrees, and I was like, "Oh, Bearded King got the knockout," and he didn't go down. I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I forgot about that fight. Yeah, when I hit him, I just knew, yeah, he was gonna fold, but no, his knees buckled. He took that hit and he stood straight up and stared me in the eyes. I was like, all right, damn.
Mm.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And each of you guys having having a few fights and growing. We've talked about some of the evolution of our styles. One thing I'm curious about is, what do you feel each of you is your greatest improvement from your first fight until now? If you want to, Bearded King, go first.
Cardio, man. Cardio. Like, I feel great, and it's just not, for boxing. Because I run Spartans sometimes during the year. I ran a 5K, a 10K. The next one I think is the 25K I want to do. So I pretty much just, cardio for, everyday life. We got kids, got to chase them around. Oh, there you go. Got kids, got to chase them around. You know what I mean? I'll be 40 next month. So I just got to just stay with it.
You'd be in the Masters division at that point.
Gotta whoop a little more young and ass before you go get older.
I wanted to ask you, bro. Say it again.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask. With us being, because we up there, we all up there. I don't know about you, Blue, but the rest of us on the show, we in the 30 club. Where does the drive? Huh?
I'm still young. I'm only
Okay,
25,
yeah. You got a little ways to go then.
Yeah.
But where does the drive come from? Because I see you consistently training. Like you said, sometimes you're doing Spartan marathons. And it's hard to do, as we get older, like you said, with kids, with the job, with the wife, with life. Where does the drive, what's driving you?
The main thing, man, what's driving me is kids. I want to leave something back that they can see. I try to videotape everything. You know what I mean? So that's the main thing.
Ooh. That's
I like that matchup.
that's a crazy one right there. I miss
Big
Draco,
dude.
man. We ain't seen Draco in a minute, but yeah.
That'll be a good one. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Blue, how young were you said?
25.
25?
Oh yeah, man.
And you think you trying to go pro? You doing this
That's
for
the
fun?
plan. That's the plan. I mean, if God will give it to me, I'm gonna go. Like, I don't know. To me, I don't have too many other options as far as like what I want to do in life. This is like kind of my like, if because I'm like I said, I'm from Alabama, and so I don't want to go back unless I'm something. If I'm not, then I'm not. I'll just be basically old me. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense, background, family. Like, to me, being away from home has made me into the person that I am now. Because it took me, let's say 4 years to find Streetbeefs, and through that journey, I became the person that first fought. The kid that you see walk into that ring lose. I lost that day. That's the person that you know. However you want to see it, that's the person that. Then from there, this whole new journey has started for me. Like, so I don't know. Like I say, if it keeps going the way it's going, I have plenty more fight in me. I hope, I'm definitely going to kind of hang around in the atmosphere that I am now, because I would rather, before anything is like kind of set in stone, I want to meet people. I want to, what I'm saying? I want to be a part of the sport, not just, be kind of in it. Like, I want to jump through a lot of hoops before I kind of just try to push myself somewhere where I don't know the, because once you go pro, there's some sharks out there that you ain't really, woo, and I don't want to be the fish. You know what I'm saying? I kind of mind it, or it always reminds me of like the Finding Nemo thing where he's you never really know who you're around, and then when there's blood in the water, you know, you never know. So
Yeah. All of a sudden, like, oh, I'm not on that level. What do you mean?
yeah, and it took nah, yeah, like I said, I'm learning, and I'm loving it right now. I mean, but I definitely before I'm 30, that's definitely the goal. So like I could say the next 5 years, that's the road I want to be on. And I've some people have told me different avenues that are starting to possibly come up as far as like in that kind of realm of things. I mean, I've looked at them. They seem pretty cool, but I also, like I said, I try to stay humble. I want to learn. I want to learn a lot more now. I want to get a lot more fights in. Lot more fights in. A lot
Oh
of more
yeah.
fights.
And being with Street Beefs, I mean, the opportunities are endless. I mean, we've talked
Oh,
about it
I
on the
mean,
show
at least
before
one
many
every
times.
month. So, and I'm fighting two in the
Exactly.
next, in the next two, or was it 2 weeks? Because we have Street Beefs
Yeah, in 2 weeks.
Scrapyard next week, and then the week after will be the Invasion. So.
And
That's
I
right.
mean,
You're
with
going
my
out there, huh?
Mhm. I don't know who I'm fighting yet, but I've kind of gotten a name, but I don't want to say it out loud because I don't even know that person, and I don't know if it's set in stone. So I'm still waiting to find out who I might be possibly fighting. I don't know yet. It'll be my first time out there though. I've never been uh, to. I've been to Virginia, but never there. So.
Just be prepared for whatever, brother.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. This training is
Yeah,
definitely because, like I said, I learned a lot from my last fight, and for sure I'm ready. I don't know. I'm excited for it because I know for myself, regardless of whether I win or lose, I know that I'm going in there to fight my fight, like, and I'll give it my all, and until I fall out or until I drop, and they got to stop it, then whatever. But I'm gonna fight my fight.
I like that. There's a West Coast branch too. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've heard. I also looked at your weight class too.
My
I
weight
heard you're a
class?
pretty good fighter. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Who
You're
you
good.
who's caught your eye in the weight class?
Honestly, I haven't watched a lot of the West Coast stuff. I really started picking it up whenever I seen your name. Whenever we were talking about before, I was like, who is he? Because I haven't, like I say, I've only really been in the sport for almost a year, and really even then it's been kind of in and out. But then I looked at yours and I was like, oh, they got some fighters down there. They got some good dogs down there for sure.
For sure. For
Oh
sure.
yeah, but I'm definitely
what's
gonna
your
be
weight?
I'm definitely gonna be tuned in to more of the because I've even been watching more of the Virginia stuff too. Because I mean, like I said, it's hard to full on tune into other people's stuff when you're trying to full on learn yourself. I feel like if you
Right.
watch too many people's things, you'll start to try to emulate other people, and you can only be yourself. You know what I'm saying? However you fight is how you have to fight. Um, but even like I said, Virginia's got good fighters too. But I like your fights. I just had to say that. I was watching them earlier and I was like, he got some. I like it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
You got a couple of nights where he's like, oh,
Oof.
wham! And you're like, ooh.
I'm telling you, I was like, that guy right there knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean we got a nice crew of heavy hitters out on the West Coast,
Oh, yeah.
Every branch does really. But yeah, we definitely got some killers out here.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I don't even want to call anybody out because I don't want to sound like I'm scoping them. I'm like, I'm just now learning still, but I'm like, whoo. I was watching a
Yeah,
couple of them earlier and I was like, they got some dogs out there for sure.
facts, facts.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Bearded King, man. With you having multiple fights with the West Coast,
Yeah.
uh, did you grow up fighting? Like, What made you decide, okay, I want to start taking up fights and I want to
Um,
continue doing this?
I didn't really grow up fighting too much. I was mostly in track and football.
Okay.
Played football a lot. I even played semi-pro. Um, after high school, played that for a little bit. Um, Still playing flag leagues today. You know what I mean? So, and then getting into fighting, I've always wanted to, but back in the day, your mom like, nah, I'm not gonna sign you, all that. So I was like, I never, really got into the ring or got, a couple of my friends did, but I was like, I'm just gonna stay with track and football, you know. And then just recently, when I signed up for you guys, I was like, let me get in there, see what it takes, and just growing from there.
Dope.
Oh, what's the mic?
I can't hear you, buddy.
Yeah, you can't hear you.
Sorry about that. All right. Dang, I feel that. It's like that athleticism really translates. And what positions you play then in football? Because I mean, I see some
Well,
of the way you position your legs when you go to throw. So I mean,
so I
are you a
was
tight end?
nah, I was mostly I played free safety. I played a lot of defense. So I was cornerback, free safety, and then on kickoff I was the gunner, so the outside guy.
Oh, see, with the way you go on your fighting, I was almost gonna say linebacker because you're in there, man. I'm
Nah,
like,
nah, I did all the speed stuff, man. I love
I can see
defense.
the corner in you for sure.
Yeah, I love defense, man. You know, defense wins games. You know what I mean? So love it.
Does any of those sports or the training with those sports, does any of that translate into fighting for you?
Um, Football, of course, track, speed, fighting in there. But football, staying low, tucked, just staying focused, really. Like like Blue said, this mental. So you got to really stay focused. If you're not focused in football, you're gonna get your head cracked. You know what I mean? If you're a receiver staying up in the air and you ain't focused, you're gonna get folded. Uh, so if you in the ring ain't paying attention, get your chin touched, so you gotta stay focused really, man. And football definitely ties into that.
Facts.
damn, Blue, did you play any sports growing up, or did you fight at all growing up? Have to throw,
Uh,
one or two, take a little
I
lunch
mean,
money.
I I played a couple here and there, but not like never really anything that like. I mean, I did track, just general. My bigger thing was I guess to my final year, I guess like high school, I did like my like big run, I guess, in JRTC. So I was more of like a JRTC kid. That's kind of why even like I went to the military after high school, and that's why I even came to Washington. So and like I said, I wasn't like a sports guy. I was just, I worked a lot. When I was in high school, I was a worker. Like I didn't too much care about sports because I cared more about a paycheck. I don't know. I was like, and even I don't know. Like now, like I try to full on invest myself into boxing, but it's hard only because of I know I gotta make my money. But that's why I say it's kind of that lazy ambitious thing. But. Yeah. I did do track, and that's why it's even funny that like in my fights I gas out sometimes because I'm like, just breathe, But I'll hold my breath. I don't know why. So that's just it's something I do in fights, and I've learned to move away from that.
Does
Okay.
I notice that the military guys who fight with street beefs, they all tend to have a certain edge to them. Do you feel like any of your military training, does any of that translate into your fighting or your fight training?
um, I don't know. I mean, growing up, I was I mean, I don't know if you just seen my mom just comment, but she's like, "Is a country boy." We grew up in the country, so I was outside all day working with my hands, just I mean, gritty kid, you know what I'm saying? Like we play in the dirt all day, And so even, getting into the military more or less gave me a better foundation than what my parents gave me, and in the sense they basically they take you from being a child and like help you learn how to full on be like a man. You know what I'm saying? Like full on as far as because my dad taught me how to be a man, but the military teaches you just something slightly different. It's hard to even put a cue on it because even when you're in there, like trust me, there's not everybody that goes in the military knows exactly what they sign up for. Like I can sit here and tell you stories about like people you'll see that just they. I mean, they may seem like I don't know. There's a there's a I don't know. It's hard to put a cue on it. I feel like my grit just comes from like the way I grew up, the way or who I am. I don't know. Um yeah.
Hey, just a tough SOB, I guess. Yeah, I've heard about, the term, country folks can fight is. I've never
Yeah, I
met a
mean,
single person from a country that doesn't know how. They'll be bleeding and
I
still be
mean,
like, that's it. And I'm like,
that's
whoa,
why honestly I avoid
okay.
MMA, man. Is because I do have a side to me. I mean, like you brought up the penguin flop fight. That that last punch, I know I shouldn't have done it, right? But that's that part where it's like I know I have to control and you because that's fighting. It's like I said, it's that mental thing. It's that some people they go in there and I mean I don't know what they go in there for. I go in there because I personally like that feeling. Like I said, it's kind of like I say, whenever you're running, let's say 4 or 5 miles, and you're that inner talk with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're pushing yourself through. Fighting kind of gives me that same thing where you can go through a whole month of stress and then get it all out in the ring. So
Very true.
Absolutely. Like, oh, I hope Bearded King's phone didn't overheat. No.
but I will say, I mean, even going into the ring, I will say I did get my stare from the military, like in the sense like having a like looking through someone for some
Hmm.
reason that to me I kind of learned that while I was in the because that's kind of like having that I don't know that internal kind of zen I don't know like because to me I'm like calm and I'm like I'm locked in like I'm ready, you know what I'm saying,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of what's about to happen. I'm ready, so
Battle ready.
oh yeah, I mean if you're gonna get in there you gotta be I don't know. If you're going in there for fun, like I mean, you can say it's fun, but also know that I mean, don't follow that up right before you're finna tell somebody you're finna punch somebody in the face. Don't be like, oh, I'm here to have fun. Like, think punching him in my face is fun. All right, well, you know,
Uh,
but
I was curious because I was going to say, obviously, being in the military, you receive certain training and whatnot. But as
yeah.
of now, do you train more like by yourself, or do you go to a gym or anything?
Oh
Or
no, so it's still just me. I'm me, my heavy bag, and that's
hey,
it. So I mean, I want to eventually go to a gym. I'm starting to change my schedule. I got like a lot better job now as far as my main job because I had two jobs. I've had them for like past like 2 or 3 years now. But even like my first fight, like I said, I don't make any excuses. I lost, right? But it's also knowing where I need to put my focus at. So yeah, I'm in this next probably like 3 to 4 months. I've been looking at a couple of gyms. I've been going to like different little sparring sessions. So you know, I'm gonna try to get into a gym and try to find a trainer or coach. But I also don't try to push it because if it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not, it's not. So.
yeah,
That's what's up,
I
man.
don't blame. They
I
got some
wanted to
killers over on the West Coast.
Say it again.
I was like, they got some killer trainers over on the West Coast too.
Uh,
What? My camera's fucking up. Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
Vegas is the fight capital. So I mean, we got a lot of tons of resources out
mhm.
here as far as gyms, coaches, trainers.
Yeah, I've been definitely keeping my eye. Like I said, I'm also one of those people where I say I don't wanna step too early. I'm still learning more about myself as far as fighting goes. Like I say, learning how to control all emotions that come with it. Whether because you know what I'm saying, I definitely don't want to be one of those fighters where you train so hard and then you lose and it crumbles you. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be able to deal with anything that comes my way, and so that's why I don't mind being down here until I'm ready to be up here. You know what I'm saying? Once I start knocking those, those notches off, then, I hope then time will be ready for it, but
Working in a gym with people, different people,
Mhm.
that's going to prepare you for all the things you're going to experience,
Mhm.
because you don't necessarily want to experience it completely by yourself for the first
Mhm.
time every single time,
Correct.
because then you may get the wrong reaction, right? But if
Mhm.
it's something that you've already experienced in the gym with a teammate, with a
Mhm.
random, with a coach,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? You're that much more prepared.
Mhm.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, no, and that's why I like I said, I'm still trying to in my head. It's weird, like 'cause like I said, I'm not from here, but I'm also trying not to be one of those people where it's like, oh, if I go here or if I go there, they might, judge me because they don't know me. You know what I'm saying? Or, so I'm still trying to move through stuff like that. Like even my first time at the scrapyard, if you in the sense like I've talked to a couple people here and there, and they'll I know it's an honest reaction because you're supposed to think that you didn't get it fairly, right? That's just how life is sometimes, and you have to move past that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I went out there and they gave me this person. Like, okay, they gave them to you. Did you win? No. Then go train and come back and try to win again. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm mentally trying to still push myself to be just more of an open person. As far as like if I go to a gym, I can just talk to them about what I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to communicate better, communicating how I feel about things. You know what I'm saying? As far as like fighting
Right.
and stuff, because it just feels like a subject where if you go in there like, oh, I just want to fight. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they might take it as the wrong energy, especially if you have like a mean muggered stare or if they I don't know.
Well, I mean, you have a good you're a couple steps ahead just by off the fact of being associated to the scrapyard.
Mhm.
So I would reach out to those individuals first before
Mhm.
complete randoms at complete
Mhm.
random gyms. You know what I mean? Because essentially you want to have a comfortable space
Mhm.
in order to grow and
Mhm.
train and
Mhm.
whatnot. You know what I mean? And it is good to be at random gyms and work with random people. That is a great thing. But later, you know what I mean? Like you want to, it sounds like you want to establish something and get something started, something going.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I would say, yeah, for sure. Appreciate that heart in the fight.
Mhm. Nice. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I would say try to see who's available with
Mhm.
who's close by within
Mhm.
Scrapyard, and
Mhm.
then hey, any gyms, any fight teams, who can I spar with, and
Mhm.
good people, good energy,
Mhm.
and that's the main thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be pushing for that. I mean, I've already kind of linked up with a couple people here and there from the scrapyard, even like QP or not QP, Stone Cold. Um, like even after, like I think it was 2 weeks after me and him met up and we sparred, and you know, so it's what was that? I'm trying to definitely do that, and I will take the advice and definitely for consideration because I I like having conversations like this because I don't it's wise to know information. Mm.
Oh,
Facts.
yeah. We've had a couple fight teams over here at the scrapyard, people coming through. Like there's been a few different ones over at the West Coast. My favorite one currently is the full-fledged tank fight team. They've
Mhm.
been getting some killers coming out. Woo!
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
also, it's about progression and growth, right? Because you can do that by yourself at the house on your bag, but you're
Mhm.
gonna reach a point where you cap out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And also, there's going to be scenarios that you can't create by yourself.
Emulate those by yourself.
You know what I mean? So it's like, do we want to experience certain things on fight day for the first time?
Hmm.
Or do we want to really excel in our, fight career, in our fight
Hmm.
growth? You know,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be. I'm definitely gonna be signing up for some different. I got, like I said, I got some things kind of in mind, but also, like I said, I don't try to push it, But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, hell, even just coming down there one day and or meeting the West Coast guys, figuring
that'd be
out
dope, man.
a way to
That'd be
come down
dope.
there, get a sparring session in or something, or I don't know, like a weekend or something. Because I mean, California's not far, so.
So we have people from California, but
Mhm.
we're more so in Nevada, and then
Oh.
we do a few events in Arizona.
Mm. Oh, is it like at different like spots and stuff?
It's mostly Nevada,
Yeah.
but we do have maybe 4 or 5 events out the year
Mm,
at the Arizona Hot Box.
gotcha. Oh,
So
is
Yeah,
that what you're talking about
lockable
with the
cage.
last, most recent one? The most
say it
recent
again.
fight? Is that like the most recent fight from out there that Bearded King was in?
Yeah, yeah.
Because
So
I'm gonna look up his fight because
yeah.
it sounded like a good fight. So
Well, it hasn't dropped yet,
oh,
because that fight just was last month, and they're still uploading.
gotcha.
Um, but it's going to eventually drop.
Yeah,
But he's got several fights with us,
yeah,
and I want to say all of his fights are at the Hot Box.
yeah.
So you look up Bearded King, you'll not only see him in his fights,
Yeah.
but you'll also see why the Hot Box is a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds it sounds like a place to be. I was
yeah.
like, I don't know, just by the sound or just by the name and the way that I don't know you're talking about, I can tell it sounds like a pretty cool spot.
Now, don't get me wrong, our main spot is the Smoke Ranch in Nevada. The
Hmm.
Smoke Ranch is phenomenal. It's great,
Hmm.
but when you want to have like the most gladiator feel, the
Hmm.
most visceral,
Raw, yeah, raw, yeah,
like you walk in and like, okay,
yeah,
it's no games
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
You go to the hot box.
Good.
That sounds.
You
Yeah,
feed it with blood.
I'll even manifest it now. One day I'll fight out there. I don't know
Hey,
when. I'll manifest it now though. I'll fight out there one of these days. Because I
we
just
love to
something
have you,
that
bro.
I have to. I have to. So
Yeah, we love to
Hell
have you.
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna manifest that in my head. I'm already knowing it's gonna happen.
You're already planning. You're like, all right, I'm gonna hit that angle, hit that angle. Shit.
Not
Hell
just.
yeah. Uh,
No, I like fight. I mean, I like fighting. I like talking about it. I mean, it's just it's one of those things that excites me. It's like you said that gladiator feel. Like I don't know, that's how I feel whenever I'm in there fighting. Like I don't know. Like even though I lost my Q-tip fight, that was like I still look at that fight like it was one of my like more like I had trained up some, but I didn't know as far as how skilled he was. He was way more. I didn't but whatever, right? No excuses. I just looked hella great in that fight though. So that gladiator feel, like kind of warrior feel, I would love to feel that out there. That'd be crazy.
well, man, I was kind of hoping Bearded King was gonna be able to hop back on with us, but we usually don't keep guests crazy long because we all got different schedules and stuff. So before I become this bad guy instead, we gotta wrap up the show and do all that craziness. I gotta ask, Somk, did you have any final questions for our guest over here, Mr. Blue?
Yeah, final question, and I think I might have the answer based off of what I see on screen. But how did we get our fight name Blue? Is that our last name
So
or
yeah, so honestly, I had started out. I was going to use the moniker Bobby. That's my alter ego. That's in the sense like before, like whenever I'm partying or whatever. That's what just people would call me. But in my first fight, I said that, and he put blue on the screen, and so then it always just stayed like in the next fight. Or no, I said blue. I might have said it on my first. I can't remember exactly, but I definitely probably said it, and then it just has always stuck. And I mean, why not? I mean, it is my last name, so and I mean that's what everybody else like. It just in a general, if if you would just walk up to me on the street, that's my name, So that's just kind of how it's stuck.
no?
Yeah.
Hey, I like that. I had to ask, okay? 'Cause you said you might go pro. We got lots of eyes from people on Street Beefs. You're talking about these different fights, changing yourself. Would there ever be bare knuckle in the future?
um, if it was bare knuckle boxing, maybe. But for bare knuckle, I will say I don't know if I would do it for free. And it's only because
Oh,
I would try to hurt somebody and I would expect them to do the same. You know, because it's bare knuckle. Like boxing, I mean, we got gloves on. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get hit and stuff, but like bare knuckles, I think that's it's just there's a different type of, it's just like why I don't do MMA because I don't mentally have this, like I can't tell myself to stop. You know what I'm saying? Where in boxing, it's a little bit easier to tame that demon. Bare knuckle and MMA is just one of those things where it's like, poof. If I would have to train too, because yeah, that would be a lot more intense. I ain't gonna say a little bit, a lot more intense. So, but it does sound dope. It does sound dope. Cause
hey,
I got some heavy hands. I got big heavy hands. So
ooh, you never know. Might be a payday.
I mean, hey, you never know.
But
Never know.
before we start wrapping this up, we always gotta make sure that we get all sort of socials
Oh
and
yeah.
all sorts of shout outs, anything you want
Yeah.
people to know, we gotta
So
give.
I would definitely want to shout out Streetbeefs Scrapyard. I want to shout out my family. Uh, all anybody that's commented in here that I know that if you've seen my story today and you're watching it or whatever, I appreciate you. Um, my wife, she deals with me every day, and even just more so, I can't believe she would choose somebody like me to be with her. So outside of that, I appreciate you guys for having me on here. I haven't had this is my first podcast ever, so you know I I can't do nothing but say thank you. But and then as far as socials, um, right now you can follow most every. If you want to start trying to follow my journey, I've set up my own like Instagram, YouTube, and it's at Bobby's Boxing. Bobby's boxing. And so when I start more like the more I train, the more footage I can get. I'm gonna put it on there for people so they know like when I'm fighting, um, when all different things like that. It'll be put on that Instagram, that Facebook, however you have it, and then YouTube as well, kind of the same thing. But
Hell yeah.
So,
like I said, I
hey, well,
appreciate you guys for having me on here, man. It was, like I said, my first one. So, and I've met you, buddy. So, but I hope we get to meet eventually one of these days, Smoke. You know,
absolutely, absolutely,
sure. If
man.
I ever get the chance to come down there before, like I'll make sure I tap in with you wherever. I don't know if it's California,
Sure,
Nevada, or Arizona, but I'll make sure for sure. So,
for sure, bro. For sure. We love to have you, man. And even if it's like just on some training or some kicking it type shit, for sure.
yes, sir.
But we appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.
Highly
Thank you.
appreciate you.
Yes, sir. All
Hey, you have a fun night.
right, boss man. You as well.
Heck yeah. That was a fun show.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, as always.
Heck yeah. I'm like, man, I had one more question for Bearder King. I'm like, oh man.
Hey, man,
Next
it
time.
happens. It happens. But shit, the show ain't over.
Not yet. Not yet.
Zuel, lifestyle wear for the fighter in you. A movement to show that by utilizing hard work, grit, and determination, you could achieve any dream as long as you were willing to put in the hard work. Buddy V creates his own unique artwork and designs all of his clothing, jewelry, and accessories, taking the time to create every item so you could feel the pride in every piece. As a living embodiment of Zuel's principles, Buddy V fights MMA while staying active in the community, promoting positivity. Whether you are a stay-at-home parent, entrepreneur, or anything else, there is a place for you at Zuel.
Buddy V's Fighters to Watch.
We gonna start off at the scrapyard. And we got Blue. Now, You met him tonight. You saw him on the show. We talked about his fights, and he has not been a fighter to watch yet. So he definitely had to be one. He is someone you want to watch because you will see the growth through his fights. And as you see the level ups, I think that we're at a point now where we're going to start seeing some serious competition come through, and we're going to see him go to continuous new lengths and larger gaps. So, Blue, I cannot wait to see everything you're about to accomplish. Man, I'm excited. So, he's one of the fighters. Going on to the West Coast. Oh man, we had Devon, sorry. Now this one was crazy because he was a heavyweight. He dug deep. But what really got me is how towards the end, especially in the third round, you could hear these boys breathing heavy. He's going and he was swinging and he never gave up. And when all I could see was, man, if he had a look like tweaked a couple things and his shots were a little straighter, this boy would have been knocking him out. He would have been, so I just need to see him more. And because we were talking about improvement, that's why you got on this list because I want to see you grow. I want to see you come out and improve. I want to see the damage you were about to do because it was your first fight ever. So, yeah. For my third fighter to watch from the OG yard, we have CJ. Now, we're talking with another heavyweight, but this gentleman had some skills to pay the bills. I was impressed because his opponent came out guns blazing. And as he was, trying to find a good position of point, he almost got on someone's back and then completely had him almost like a full cross, then went almost got an arm bar, then turned around almost. I was like, whoa, hold on. He's like trying to accomplish all these other things and ended up getting a rear naked. So I need to see some more of CJ because obviously he has some tools in his arsenal that are waiting to be released. Let's see him, man. Yeah. Those are my 3 fighters to watch.
Yeah. Fire picks as always.
Fire.
Yeah, Some Can the Fire 5. We're going to start things off at the OG yard. You see it. This is a women's boxing match between Honey Butter versus Vixen. And for those of y'all who don't know, the creator of Street Beefs, his wife, Vixen, there she is right there having her a boxing match. And it was a firefight. I mean, back and forth barrages between these women. I mean, both of these women refusing to back down, very competitive, lots of heart shown, and they just threw defense out the window. Straight up firefight. Street Beefs OG yard, Honey Butter versus Vixen. Moving along the Street Beefs Scrapyard, you're trying to look this fight up. The title is right there on the screen. This is a MMA match between Canadian Idiot versus Atom Bomb. Canadian Idiot versus Atom Bomb. What a great display of grappling and wrestling. We saw the jiu-jitsu being worked at its finest. Great fast-paced action. You see the time on there. These men did not waste any time. And we had a sudden end to a one-round war. Street Beef Scrapyard, Canadian Idiot versus Atom Bomb. Firefight. Yeah. You saw him on the show last week. We in the West Coast. Prince KT versus Sajin Throwdown Brown. This was a fire boxing match right here. Youth versus experience. And we did not get a whack fight right here. We saw slick boxing, sharp jabs, power hooks, everything you want to see in a firefight. This was a great, solid matchup, just a fire bout. And this is one of those fights where you need to comment who you thought won. Very close. Street Beefs West Coast, Prince KT versus Sajin Throwdown Brown. Taking you back to the OG yard, you see it. We got Killer Kyle versus Jay Quick. This is a throwback right here. Boxing match right here. And you see the time right here. You see the time, 3:25. These men didn't waste any time. This was a straight slugfest. I mean, punches and bunches, rock 'em, sock 'em, all gas, no brakes. And once again, a huge finish, firefight. Killer Cow versus Jay Quick, Street Beefs OG Yard. And then the final firefight of the night, we're going back to the scrapyard for another classic boxing match. This is Shad Shrugs versus Karate Gandalf. And once again, another classic bout. Both of these men drastically possessing two different styles. And it made for a really good fight. You had the power puncher versus the poise puncher. Great pace throughout this fight. Both of these men going back and forth, trying to gain dominance, gain momentum. And this was a well-played chess match right here. Streetbeefs Scrapyard, Shad Shrugs versus Karate Gandalf, Samke and the Firefly.
Straight fire. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That first one, I was itching to watch. So yeah, that is definitely gonna be as soon as I get off, I'm gonna have to go check that out. The one with
Yes, sir.
Scarface's wife. Woo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was a good fight, man. Real good fight.
But even though we're having a good time, that was some fire. It's about time to wrap it up.
It's about that time, man. About that time. Another great show. I want to thank our guest tonight, Bearded King. We appreciate you. Everyone watching, go check out his fights. He's got plenty of fights out there. And then Blue, I want to appreciate you for coming out. Everyone watching, go watch his fights as well. He's got multiple fights. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. It really helps out. We're here to support and show love, and it's good to get it back, sometimes. So thank you to Buddy V. Thank you to Jay. We kill it every week. I want to say thank you to the OG Yard, Scrap Yard, West Coast, and Dirty South. We do this for y'all. Everyone who watched us live, everyone who was in the comments, everyone watching us on replay, we appreciate you guys. We do this for y'all. Shout out to Overtime Hustling Magazine. Shout out to Heart in the Fight. And shout out to zwellworld.com, where you can get all your merch, all your Zwell merch, all your MMA Underground merch, and then all your Cardio is Key shirts. Everything's on the website right there. I want to say thank you once again. You guys trying to catch me, same time, same place, every week. And yeah.
Heck yeah, shout out to Zuel. You know what it is. Go to Zwell_Buddy V for the Instagram, Zwell-world.com. The Facebook is Zwell World as well. Go show some love. Let me know what you think about the website. Let me know what you think about the tabs. It's forever growing, forever changing. I got all sorts of fun stuff. Women, kids, men. And yeah, just let me know what you think. I'm always trying to improve it. So hell yeah. You guys are going to see some stuff coming up this week. I'm excited. I have a couple things I was waiting to reveal. So it's been a crazy week, and yeah, you'll see it right before the show. You might see it on the show, or you never know. You just got to stay tuned. So thank you, Samke. I wouldn't be able to do the show without you because we kill it every week. Jay, as a producer, you are way too smooth with it. We're going to have to, make sure we play with it, make it stand your toes. And thank you, everybody, for having a great time with us every Wednesday. So, in Jay's famous words, as we always end it, one world, one love, deuces.
Hey, hey.